Hi everyone. Today, as like the thumbnail of this video, you can see that we're going to be ranking characters' crimes. The amazing additional circus. Let's get into it. We're going to be doing episode 1 and episode 2. But if we miss any crimes of these characters, let me know. But first we're gonna be doing Kane. So let's see if any crimes Kane has. So the first crime that we're gonna look at Kane is, well, of course, he traps 6 people here, and there's some other attractive characters we don't even know, which will be 6 kidnapping and possibly more, which means I feel like he should get. That's the fact that you can't leave and they basically just ruined their life. I feel like he should get, and this might sound kind of harsh, but 50 years in prison. Actually, not 50 years in prison, 30. I don't know. I'm not a cop over here. But I think he should get 30 years in prison, maybe even more. Maybe the 50 was the right idea. Yeah. And also, by the way, before I continue this video, just remember that I'm going to be listing a lot more characters than the thumbnail shows. So don't get mad at me if there's some characters that weren't in the thumbnail. I'm sure you don't care. What? Now let's do this. Now let's just say. And also, you can't forget that Candace all seeing an knife on you, which would be the sentence of spying. Which, for me, since he's spying on every single circus member, just kind of a creep move, he'll get 5 years in prison. And there's actually a few more crimes that Kane actually does. Oh yeah, you can't forget the time where he popped a bubble, which will, since he came back, it still counts him as a life sentence. So he'll get the life sentence. And he also did this twice. And also the worst part is that he does it out of anger. Which will lead him to another life sentence. Which means he has 2 life sentences, but here's probably the worst crime. Well, the worst crime was the life sentence. This was probably, for our eyes, is the worst. It's the worst thing that he ever done. Oh yeah, we can't forget about Gummy Goo's death. He was literally the best character. Not the best character for me, but he was literally one of the best characters. Yeah, you literally murder him. Well, again, he's an NPC. He could just grow right back, but that'll give him another life sentence, which will cause him 35 years in prison and 3 life sentences. Now let's move on to a character that might actually be surprising on this list. Now the next character that we're going to be looking at is, well, Gangle. Gangle actually commits some crimes. Yeah, in the first, in the second episode, she does do some crimes. You might not realize it, but she does do some crimes. So Gangold also goes to like where there's like a bunch of rocks, and that's dangerous driving. Reckless driving. Yeah, but if you're wondering, but Jax made her do it. Surprisingly, if the person tells you to do it, you still get charged. I have no idea why. Like if someone says, "Hey, go destroy that building," if you destroy it, you still get charged. If someone tells you to do it. And also, it's like the same thing for ramming it into the Gummy Goo truck. Yeah, for going on the bumpy road, that's reckless driving. Which means, that also means that I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I feel like she'll get a year in prison. Reckless driving. But for ramming into a car, causing them to their deaths, they were trying to steal the maple syrup. But still, ramming into them, causing for their deaths, that's an evil move, which means she'll be getting, and since Jax made her do it, I'm gonna get her safe and only make it a 3-year sentence. Since Jax made her do it, I'm gonna make it safe. But now let's talk about the character that again, you might be surprised after on this list, but it's Pommy. Now, the first crime that Pommy did was not helping Ragatha she was glitched out. I understand that's reasonable, but I still have to charge that as a crime. So, which means she'll land in 6 months in prison. Just because it wasn't intentional since she was glitching out. Again, with Gangold, I'll make it safe. But still, you can't get behind that. That she literally left Ragatha behind. And she also did this twice. Yeah, she did this twice with the exit door, which will give her another 6 months in prison which means she'll be landing a year in prison. But wait, that's not all the crimes she did yet. And you can't forget one that she also murdered. Well, she didn't murder, but she attacked the fudge monster. She landed a car on him. And that'll cost her 16 months in prison, even if it wasn't intentional. Yep. Now then, which means she'll be landed in 2 years and 6 months in prison. Now let's move on to another character. I'm surprised how many characters have done crime. But the next character that we're going to be doing is Gummy Goo. Yeah, we're going to be looking at Gummy Goo next. Well, first, he also stole the maple syrup. Yep, he stole the maple syrup. Yeah, he stole the maple syrup. And stealing, you go to jail, which means... how long should he go to prison for that. Since at least for the Candy Kingdom, it's very valuable, which means I'll have to get to 2 years in prison because it's pretty valuable. Now the next crime he did was he also had spikes while they're running into them, actually them stab Ragatha, hurting someone. And like again, it wasn't intentional, but she still hurt someone, which will leave it to that, which wasn't completely to that, but like it's where honestly I feel like he should. Yeah, I feel like for hurting someone, even if it was intentional, could land someone in 2 years in prison. Yeah, like again with Tommy, he also accidentally hurt Gummy Goo, which will land him with 16 months in prison. Which means the average, which means his charge would be 4 years and 6 months in prison. And we're also going to give him a grandson auto and a ticket because of the other stuff that we excused. But we're not finished yet. We still have 2 more to go. 2 more to go and define. Yes, yep. Now we're going to get to the real criminals. The criminals that we just know that are criminals. Now let's get into it. Now the fudge monster was about to eat the 5 of the circus members. But since he didn't actually eat them, but he still at least tried to eat them. He didn't do it on purpose, but he tried to eat them. Like again, he didn't do it. He tried to eat them. Which will, since he didn't, like again, he didn't do it on purpose, but he just fought dear Candy. This is the Kingdom, which means I'll land him 2 years in prison. But the worst crime that he did, he says that he also ate a bunch of town folks, which will, since we don't know how many he ate, that still has to give him, you know what, I know this might sound harsh, but like again, we're just like, anyways, he eat them again at the end of the episode, which means we'll have to give the fudge monster the death penalty. Like again, that might sound harsh, but if you really count all his crimes, it's kind of reasonable to give him the death penalty. Now let's go to the final character that I have to discuss, and here's the character that literally deserves to be up behind bars. Sure, the other ones, they're just kind of, yeah, with Tommy, she used to try to save herself and get out of the circus. With Gangle, Jack was telling her what to do. Yumigu, he was a robber. He still did steal some stuff, but it's not as worse as this character. Kane, we don't know if he's actually the god of the amazing digital circus. Yeah, but still. And the fudge monster, he was just hungry. It wasn't on purpose. But the last character, He's just pure evil. No behind that. Remember with Kane, I also changed it to 90 years. Which means it kind of is the life. It's like, oh my god, I just feel like I just changed it. He should just be in 90 years, since there's a bunch of abstract characters that we don't know. If it's ruining someone's life, it's definitely an evil move. Yep, it's Jax. We're gonna be looking at Jax's crime. Let's go! So Jax also broke Gangle's Comedy Max, which is her own property, which will cost him. Max are pretty expensive, especially if it's their own face, which would leave him $10,000 fine, and also a year in prison. Yeah, for destroying someone's own property. Yeah, you also can't forget that he also has the keys to everyone's room. And like again, to break in someone's room, we don't know who he broke in. And which rooms he broke in. We're just going to assume that he broke into all of them, which will make him land into yeah, like I feel like he deserves, since for like going in someone else's room, I feel like he deserves 5 years for that. And he also put a centipede in Rakasa's room. And you also can't forget that most centipedes are poisonous. You don't know if it was poisonous or not, but that's still a crime. Which, for my opinion, I just think he deserves the life in prison because of that. Like, again, that might seem a little bit harsh, but if you think about it, he deserves that. He also hits Kinger with a bowling ball and landed him into the pitch. Like, again, hurting someone else. Bowling him, it's just because he was doing it on purpose. We'll give him 10 years in prison. Yeah. And also, there's also another crime that he did. And also, anyways, he also didn't help Zubo when she was in big danger. Well, I guess that's understandable since she did call them idiot. Like, again, still unacceptable. Which, since she also got eaten, luckily she didn't die, but she literally would have died, which will give him the sentence of another life sentenced. So we have 2 life sentences. Now let's look at the next crime that he did. Well, in episode 1, there isn't really that much other crimes that he did. It was just kind of just like a bullying thing. That's not a crime, is it? Is it? I don't know, but wait, so. Anyways, now let's move on to episode 2 of Jax's crime. He also throws Pommy on top of the truck of the other truck, which which will land him 5 years in prison. He also threatens Gangle with a shotgun, which is threatening someone, which will give him 20 years in prison. Yeah, but his crime doesn't stop there. He also tells Gangle to also ram into the gummy goo truck, and he also hurts Ragatha. Yeah, since she also gets stabbed. Yeah, because because of him, because they told Gangle to ram into them. And he also tells Gangle to also use the bumpy roadways. Anyways, you do your own counting. Do your own counting. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for you. You're the lucky guy. It's crazy. Stop. Dude, they also fortunate Gangle with him. With a figurine thing. It also pushes Ragatha and Kinger into the floor of the truck, which has a bunch of knives, which will be hurting someone like again, which will give him 20 years in prison. Prison. Yep. And he also threatens Ragatha by telling the fudge monster that she has licorice hair, which that could possibly make her bald, which means she'll get, and she also could have ate her, which means, guess what they'll land? They'll land in 3 years in prison, because she's gonna go to 10 years in prison. She's gonna go to Nathan. But here's the worst crime that he ever done. Yeah, here's the worst crime that I ever. Now, he also didn't close the gate of the Canyon Kingdom door, which would end up killing thousands of the mini Moonkins, which means, yeah, that's definitely the worst crime that he ever did. Yeah, he didn't close the gate, letting the fudge monster in of all the people dying, and letting everyone die without even closing it. Well, yeah, that's definitely the worst crime that he ever did. You know what? Like, again, this might sound harsh, but it's reasonable. I feel like he should get the death penalty. Hillary, we don't know how if they were able to escape, or if they just all died. We'll still have to give him the death penalty, and well, yeah, that's kind of it. We literally, caught every single crime, and maybe I'll make a part 2 for episode 3. Yeah. And anyways, like, again, if you miss any characters or any crimes that some other characters did or some creatures did, and I forgot to use, let me know. But that'll have to be the end of the video. Like and subscribe, please.